You know those stories that get under your skin and just stay there? Well, today we're going to pull one of those stories apart, piece by terrifying piece, to really understand the mechanics of modern fear. Let's dive in.
All right, so every great ghost story needs the perfect stage, right? And the real power of The Knock at 1:30 a.m. all starts with how masterfully it sets its scene, turning something totally familiar into something truly frightening.
So the story drops us right here. It starts with something so simple, something we can all relate to: going home. You get that feeling of safety, right? Maybe a little nostalgia, but yeah, that feeling of comfort, it's not going to last.
And right here, this is where the author just flips a switch in your brain. Think about it. City nights, they're loud, they're chaotic, sure, but you're ignored, you're anonymous. Village nights, though, they're silent. But it's not an empty silence. It feels like it's watching. And just like that, in a handful of words, that comfort of being home is totally gone, replaced by this really primal feeling of being observed.
And then we get this classic suspense building right here. The time, 1:30 a.m., that is so deliberate. It's not random. It's deep in that witching hour territory, A time when the whole world is supposed to be dead asleep, which makes any noise, any disruption feel just completely wrong.
And this? Oh, this is pure horror genius right here. It's not some frantic, crazy banging on the door, no. It's controlled. 3 slow knocks. That precision, that's what makes it so chilling. It means there's intelligence behind it, patience. It's not someone in a rush. It's something that has all the time in the world.
Okay, so the stage is set, the mood is creepy. Now the story brings in its antagonist. But the genius part, it's all about what we can't see. The entire threat is built on suggestion, on these little unsettling details.
Then you get this line, a voice that's almost familiar. And man, that is such a clever psychological trick. Our brains are hardwired to recognize voices, to find those patterns. So when you hear something that's almost right, but not quite, it just feels wrong. It's unnerving. It makes you wonder, do I know this person? Or even worse, is something pretending to be someone I know? And this question, you forgot me already? Whoa, this just flips the whole thing on its head. All of a sudden, the narrator isn't just some random victim. No, now they might be responsible for this. It hints at some shared history, some past mistake. It makes the horror personal. It's not just fear anymore. Now there's guilt and confusion mixed in. Okay, you can feel the shift here, right? Everything so far has been about sound, the knocks, the voice. But now we're about to get our first visual clue. And the way this story sets it up, it's designed to make our stomachs drop right along with the narrators.
And there it is. The light is on outside, so why is there no shadow under the door? This is it. This is the moment the story just shatters the laws of physics. It's a simple, impossible fact, and it tells the narrator and us one very clear thing. Whatever is on the other side of that door, it isn't human. That's not just scary. That's wrong.
There's actually a word for this feeling, the uncanny. It's when something is super familiar, but just off, in a way that makes you deeply uncomfortable. A person at your door, totally normal. A person at your door with no shadow, that is fundamentally deeply wrong. And that small break from reality creates this creeping dread that's way more effective than some monster just jumping out at you.
All right, so we've got this impossible thing standing outside the door. How does the story stop us from just saying, nah, I don't buy it? Well, it does something really smart. It grounds the whole thing in one of the oldest storytelling traditions we have, folklore.
This right here is how the story builds its world. It gives us these simple, kind of creepy rules that have been passed down for generations. The grandmother's warning, it takes what happened from being just a random scary thing and turns it into a known danger, a recurring threat that this village has literally learned to live with. It gives the horror a history.
And of course, every good legend needs someone who knows the secrets, right? The keeper of the lore. In this story, it's the old man. He's the one who basically says, nope, you're not crazy. You didn't dream it. This is real. And it's happened before.
This question, did it knock 3 times? This is the real turning point. It validates everything. That one tiny detail, the 3 knocks, confirms there's a pattern. The narrator's private fear is suddenly part of a much bigger, shared nightmare. And somehow, knowing you're not the only one makes it 1,000,000 times more terrifying.
And look at how simply this is laid out.
So powerful. The old man doesn't need to give you all the gory details of what happened to the last boy. The list is the story. That final step, he opened the door. It lands like a death sentence. And that unspoken fourth step just hangs there, leaving it up to our own imaginations to fill in the horrible blanks.
So, here we are at the climax. The narrator knows the rules now, they know the pattern, they've been warned. And the story has built up this one, very clear expectation in all of us. Whatever you do not open that door. But it's the twist coming up that takes this from just a good scary story to something truly great.
And of course, that night, it happens again. The tension is through the roof this time, because now we know exactly what's at stake right alongside the narrator. This isn't just a repeat performance. This is a test of will, a test of survival.
And this is the big one, isn't it? The question the whole story has been building towards. What actually happens if you open the door? And let's be honest, we think we know. Our brains, trained by a million other horror stories, are screaming, it's death, or you get dragged away. We expect something violent.
But then the old man says this. Nothing happens immediately. And this is just masterful misdirection. It's the setup for the final punch. For just a second, you feel this little wave of relief like, oh, okay, so it's not instant death then. It completely lowers your guard right before the story drops the real horror on you.
Because this is the twist. They're the ones who start knocking. The real horror isn't getting killed or taken, it's transformation. You don't die. You become the monster. The curse doesn't end with you, it continues through you. You become the next person knocking on the door. And that idea, that is so much scarier than just dying.
Okay, let's take a step back and look at the whole picture. What are the key ingredients we've just pulled apart that make this story work so well? What makes it stick in your brain?
I mean, it's really a perfect formula when you break it down. First, you take a familiar, safe setting and make it feel threatening. Then you create a monster that we never even see, so our own imaginations do all the heavy lifting. You ground it in reality with some simple, creepy folklore and rules. You choose that slow, creeping suspense over cheap jump scares. And then, the finale, you hit them with a twist that's not just a shocker, it's a cycle. The horror literally spreads.
And that ultimately is why a story like this gets under your skin. The fear isn't just about some ghost in a village. It's about something contagious. It's about how a curse can spread. And it's about the truly horrifying idea that one bad decision doesn't just end your story. It makes you the monster in someone else's. So it leaves you wondering, what doors in your own life should you just never, ever open?